your boy RushMoreRick, and if you're not tapped in with the Shannon Sharpe situation, let's tap into it together. We about to see what's going on with America's favorite freaky unk. Let's go.
Shannon Sharpe is really unlucky. Every single day, he's looking like Puffy. Day by day, the situation keeps getting ugly. Busby in 5.
Serge Ibaka, Chewbacca, Waka Flocka. Lakers in 5.
Over the past week, Shannon Sharpe has been getting hit left, right, and sideways when it's coming to, this lawsuit by this alleged victim, Gabrielle Zuniga, saying that Shannon Sharpe raped her, essayed her, and did a bunch of treacherous and terrible things to her, and is now suing him to the tune of $50 million. Naturally, Shannon Sharpe denied these things, but as more stuff came out, as more times Shannon Sharpe talked, and him having to address these things, these videos, these text messages, these narratives, ultimately, it's having his world come crashing down right in front of him. And I know people aren't going to want to hear this, but in my opinion, he's done some things to deserve this.
Ocho, where your sign?
Huh?
Where your sign?
My sign? I'm a Capricorn.
I tell you what, you better not F this up, because we waited to this day to put the signs up and to make the announcement. And hold on. Now, when you go to the airport, you always tweeting out or IG who want to pick their boy up from the airport. Have somebody come in there and hang that issue up on the wall.
Oh, you talking about the Boost Mobile sign?
Yeah.
Oh, it's right here. It's right here.
Yeah, Ocho, you better not F it up. You and your unprofessional ways better not F this up for Unk. Don't F it up. I was doing my YouTube scrolls in the morning, and I came across a video from a creator that I watch all the time, Anton Daniels. I know people think that that's a little bit different than who I am, but listen, I watch Anton Daniels on occasion. But he pointed out something that was very, very interesting. On these recent episodes of Nightcap, there have not been the sponsors that were once there.
Chad Ochocinco's background, he now has the Boost Mobile logo covered up with the jersey. Not only is the Boost Mobile logo covered up, but also on top of that, the DraftKings logo in the upper right-hand corner is missing. So the only logical conclusion that we can come to is that either A, the sponsorships are still there, but they're saying hold off, similarly to how we've obviously been informed over this past couple of days that ESPN is now saying that Shannon Sharpe is going to step away.
That makes sense though, because at the same time, if you in any type of legal battles, especially to that extent when they're talking SA, like S assault, that's bad. That's really bad. So there's companies who they've got images to uphold. So it's not like we've done with you, but we're gonna shelf you for sure until you get your shit figured out. You know what I'm saying? Because not only when you take these sponsorships from people, you're not only representing yourself still, but you're a representation of them. So if they're willing to put their name behind you and, sponsor you, they're trying to get something out of it in return. If the press about you is nothing but negative lately, then why would they want to keep doing business with you? You know what I'm saying? Nobody wants to do business with somebody that curates negative press. And this is like his second or third instance to my knowledge where he just in the headlines for some fuckery, some just top tier bad shit. I don't want to say top tier Diddy shit, not yet, but it's treading in that direction for sure.
Away for a little bit in order to make sure that they clear things up right before football season. If you're not knowing about that, then I'm bringing it to you right now. They are not parting ways.
Not only is it the Boost Mobile, but it's also the DraftKings, it's also the ESPN, it's every single brand wanting to get away from Shannon Sharpe at this very moment due to these allegations. And he's also pushing to join his membership program on the YouTube channel very, very hard these days, because that's a big source of revenue and income that doesn't want to be attached to a guy like this to his magnitude. Now, it's no secret that his pockets are going to be affected due to the situation that is happening at hand. Trust me, these are grape allegations. These are very, very serious. But I do not believe that it has been beneficial for Shannon Sharpe to be speaking out on this matter, because I think that it's only made the situation worse in the time being. Now, I know somebody like me knows that these ads are the most important things in the world, and I would never do anything to mess up things with our sponsors, like today's sponsor, Pia VPN. Pia is my go-to private ISP.
I seen it coming.
We can get these sponsors stepped away for a number of reasons. Now, of course, at the very top level, these are very serious allegations that are on Shannon Sharpe. And even though a lot of us have very, 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 very much doubt in the manner that he did do these things, I mean, this is a Tony Busby production. This is the same lawyer who put up this crazy claim on Jay-Z at parties that he's never been. This is the same one that put up a lawsuit against Drew.
I was just about to say, this is the same nigga that put up the Drew. It's no way that they came out with the Drewski lawsuit and the evidence was this. It says some stupid shit like he got naked and oiled his body up and belly flopped on the dumbest shit. Like some shit obviously should hold up in the court of law, and then some shit I don't be knowing what the fuck they be having going on, bro, like at all.
Who in 2018 didn't have, 91 cents to his name. Like, this is a crazy lawyer. That doesn't mean that these sponsors won't take this seriously just because it's coming from Tony Busby. They got to cover their asses in this regards. I personally think one of the biggest mistakes that Shannon Sharpe and his legal team has been making is been speaking out constantly. Now, I get it. At first glance, you probably want to protect yourself in these regards by coming out and speaking to the public. But when you are trying to paint these narratives that don't necessarily line up, or you just have, I don't know, what seems to be crazy claims and all this evidence and all these rebuttals, it's only going to open up the door for more people to look at you, your wrongdoings, your transgressions, and what you did in this case, regardless of if it was legal, not legal, moral, or immoral.
She will be asked to explain the text messages asking for fantasy role playing, asking to be choked, asking for a dog collar, asking for his, quote, black babies. This was all a plan, taped, manipulated, extortion, blackmail scheme, and we will prove that in court when we sue her in a counterclaim and she's under oath.
To me, that conversation and the conversation about Shannon Sharpe graping this woman don't necessarily connect. Sure, they're both in the kinky and freaky stuff. There's fantasy role play. Where does this align with the grape allegations? Where does this align with the claims of him choking her outside of any sort of sexual aspect? I just don't get it. And the only reason I would even have that
Yeah, but see, when you're doing that, lines get blurred. Like, let's listen a little bit more before I give a take on it. But lines do get blurred because to what extent do we know is he's actually wrong for doing the stuff that she asked for?
Perspective is because Shannon Sharpe's lawyer decided to speak out. Similar to Shannon Sharpe and his team speaking out about other lawsuits and legal matters that came out in Shannon's past. An old case from FS1 reared its ugly head this past weekend because when it starts to rain, it starts to pour. As Shannon Sharpe gets deeper into the weeds of this situation, obviously and naturally, more people are going to start to speak on the matters that involve his past and his sexual life and his relationship. So an interesting tidbit came out about that FS1 situation. Allegedly, Shannon Sharpe had choked a PA, a female PA at FS1, and there was some sort of internal investigation and some sort of financial compensation that came out of that, some sort of settlement. Now, Shannon Sharpe's attorneys, instead of letting that situation go without any sort of comment, denying anything, said that there was something that did happen at FS1. We did have to have some sort of settlement, but there was not choking. And see, the stuff like this is the reason why I ask why speak, because now you want to play the...
Well, it's why speak, because if something like this come out, right, and he says nothing, we know what the internet does. The internet takes things, they add to the story, they run with it unless the person who's being talked about comes out and gives a direct statement explaining what happened. Honestly, it's a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation, because if you say something, you got people like him who are Omizi, like, why are you shedding light on this? Don't say nothing. Don't speak. But if you don't speak, then you got some people like, why is he quiet? Is he guilty of this too? This nigga is just a flat out bad person. It's a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation. But I feel like if I'm in his situation, I'm saying something because when you're a TV personality, you want to protect your character. Yes, it's just something you'll naturally want to do, but it becomes like an ego thing. Your ego won't allow random people to just be constantly attacking your character, especially if you know you're innocent.
The vague game, but just 2 seconds ago, you wanted to speak entirely on the matters of all these situations in order to clear your name. Shannon's legal team decided to tell us, yo, go talk to Fox Sports Network. Listen, they're not on trial. They've got their own things going on, but they are not on trial right now. You are in this court of public opinion game that you're playing. So why not answer the question directly? Another legal situation also came out this weekend where Shannon Sharpe's ex, Michelle Evans, called him to the fire. Michelle Evans is claiming that Shannon Sharpe has a repeated past, a history of doing these exact same things to her. The same things that were done.
Yeah, when it rains, it pours. This is kind of like the whole Me Too movement, where I'm not saying it's right and I'm not saying it's wrong, but it's like once one person says something, it opens the floodgates for tons of people to say something. Some people they grow the strength to tell their truth, and I commend them for that. But then some people just feel the need to kick a dead horse when it's dead. Well, kick a dead horse when it's down. Whatever fucking saying that shit is. But some people are like, I just hope everybody's doing their due diligence to see through fabricated statements, because you never want to see a man fall for reasons like this. But if everything turns out to be true, you want to see people held accountable, no matter who the fuck they are.
Done to Jane Doe or
Right,
Gabrielle
right.
Zuniga, you know, the 19-year-old woman that we wouldn't know about if Shannon Sharpe didn't come out and publicly out her. Sharpe's team also came out and said that this was another fantasy role-playing situation. Seems like Uncle Freaky Shannon Sharpe likes to get down a certain type of way that can apparently be perceived as great. Look, I want to be very clear in my stance in this video. I don't know what happened in the real-life situation with Shannon Sharpe, Gabrielle Zuniga, Michelle Evans, or any other person claiming that Shannon Sharpe harmed them. I think attaching your name to Tony Busby does, you know, void a lot of credibility in this case. I don't like to take any one person's side because, hey, celebrities can be freaky, and I don't want to stand on the freaky side. Plus, people are actual victims out here. What I do want to say is the court of public opinion does not matter. And Shannon Sharpe opening his mouth has only opened up a can of worms to losing a bunch of credibility, a bunch of followers and supporters, and a bunch of advertisers who perceive him to be some Uncle Freaky Shannon Sharpe gooned out deviant. Not only,
But he was gonna lose followers regardless, because for some reason people are followers. Like, other than the term itself, obviously you're followers if you follow them on a platform. But if you see a wave of people just mass exiting the Shannon Sharpe business, a lot of people can't do the due diligence for themselves. They can't use discernment for themselves. Okay, the trend is we hate Shannon. Fuck it, we all hate Shannon now. Fuck it, we out. I'm following, I'm subscribing, I'm not tuning in, I'm not watching I'm not supporting you no more. A lot of people just are so quick to do that with the cancel culture shit, as opposed to withholding the passing of judgment and not even knowing what you're judging. Like, you don't know the full extent of the story. You don't know the full information. Yet you're jumping ship. Me personally, I was never on the Shannon Sharpe ship. I think he's a funny dude, weird dude, little zesty man. But for the most part, I just hate to see people get accused of things and then people are acting on the claims as if he's just flat out guilty. I believe in innocent until proven guilty. If he's guilty, then do as you please. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, you got to withhold judgment on some of these situations, because you would hate to see somebody just be flat out lying, and then a person like Shannon lose out on everything that he had going for himself.
only are they not going to want to attach their name to you because you have these grape allegations, but I can almost guarantee that Boost Mobile is rethinking all the freaky deaky accusations.
Man, Boost Mobile ain't rethinking shit. Them motherfuckers ain't. They've been irrelevant in the fucking cellular data game since I've been born, and I was born in 2000. Motherfuckers ain't worried about no Boost Mobile. They better hold on to that Shannon Sharpe, that Shannon Sharpe name, because who else out here repping Boost Mobile? Fucking nobody.
That you have.
Unless y'all trying to do business with me. I get big enough and y'all want to do business with me, then hit me up. You know what I'm saying?
Even the ones that are legal. And I know somebody's probably going to say in the comment section, Omar, Shannon Sharpe has always been gooned out. But the difference between now and back then is that back then it all seemed like harmless chatter. It all seemed like, you know, talk on the podcast with your bros and your boys. But now going forward, it's building a pattern and a case for you. It's letting the world know about your transgressions and that you actually do it. It's one of those things where, you know, people didn't believe it until they saw it and now they see it and all they can do is look at you as a freaky old man.
You have to get to that point where you grown enough to just feel like, okay, I'm not in that era no more, so I'm not leaving my man for cheating once. Man, I'm probably gonna get like 4 times.
4? Damn.
I'm not gonna lie.
Shit. I'm gonna have to get your number. You know I'm the back shop king. So she passed gas.
Yes, sir.
She said, excuse me. I said, that's all right, baby. I generally make them shit. Ooh. It kept going.
Freaky ass
and,
dude.
and be able to say some of the things that you were saying.
What was I saying, Ocho? What was I saying? I ain't hear it.
You was like, you gonna take this But I ain't
Come on,
yeah,
Ocho!
I'm just saying, I ain't never heard you talk like that, Unc. Now, what we do got to work on is ain't nothing wrong with your hip, but we got to work on your cardio because you was breathing heavy. When you lift weights, hit the
Ocho, but you
treadmill
got
first. Or do the
Ocho.
step,
Real
do the
talk, though,
step
Ocho.
master.
Your boy, hey, Ocho. I was already knee deep for about 25.
Listening to Bad Legal Advice had Shannon Sharpe reveal his accuser by name and by OnlyFans handle. I know a lot of people are divided on the fence about whether you should out a Jane Doe accuser or not, but what it did for a lot of the community and a lot of the people is put a face to a name or a face to a person. Yeah, there was a transcript that talked about her age, but seeing her in real time, discovering that she was actually a white woman and putting this face of what a lot of people will classify as mid-milk to the accusations made people look at Shannon Sharpe even worse. Not worse in the sense that he did it or not did it from my timeline's perspective, but worse in the fact that you're doing this with that person. Now we listen to those audio tapes differently. It sounds clear as day that she is setting him up with all the pauses and just the way that she's posing these statements and questions.
Oh, Lord have mercy. If you say that one more time, I'm going to choke the shit out of you when I see you. Thank you.
Now we're looking at all the times on FS1 or on First Take or any of these publications where you've had interactions with women or you've had conversations about getting downright dirty. It all looks scary in the light. You then do things like screenshot your PR team's message to you to post out to the world, and instead of copying and pasting it and making it at least seem somewhat genuine, you do the screenshot thing, which makes it seem like you just don't give a fuck. Now Shannon Sharpe has made it very clear as to why he's doing this. It's for his supporters and his fans.
To my family, friends, supporters, and colleagues, I want to speak to you directly and from the heart.
This shit was funny as hell because it's clear. Like, a lot of people, you could tell they read in teleprompts, but it's like,
We're going to be suing her as a counterclaim, and we will prove she's lying. But then I said myself to Shannon Sharpe, you need to talk to your family, your friends, your fans, everybody who watches ESPN, because you are telling the truth. The truth is on your side. And when you say it yourself, rather than me or somebody else saying it, you will be believed.
So I asked myself, who would Shannon Sharpe be willing to drop evidence that he's into race play for? Who would Shannon Sharpe be trying to drop, I don't know, a 10-minute sex tape if he had to exonerate his name for? Who would Shannon Sharpe be doing this for? Who are those family, friends, and most importantly, who are those supporters?
Shannon, I'm not done with you. I just can't get over, I want you to put a big black baby in me. That's what you like?
Yes, that is exactly what we like. That's what we've always liked. In all honesty, if I date a white woman and she doesn't say something like that to me, I ain't gonna date her any longer. I can tell with your light-skinned ass that it might hurt your feelings, but the rest of us like that. Leave Shannon Sharpe alone.
LeJethro, this is crazy. At the beginning of the video, I said that Shannon Sharpe earned this situation that he's in. No, I don't think that it's right for Shannon Sharpe to be blackmailed. If that is true, I don't think that it's right for Shannon Sharpe to be, pimped out or taken advantage of, if this is to be true. But not only did he put himself in situations for this to happen, dealing with, as he would say, 19-year-old OnlyFans model Gabrielle Zuniga, aka Carly.
Coordinated by Gabby, also known as Carly on OnlyFans.
But he himself, through his actions, have opened up Pandora's box for everybody to investigate and have opinions about him, his life, his actions, etc., etc. Instead of just not talking, Shannon Sharpe has been on record being nothing but a horny, creepy old man. Even to the tune of being contradictory when it came to Donnell Rawlings and his relationship with a younger woman.
Why you didn't date her mom? Why you go for the... Donnell!
I didn't date her mom because... Why didn't I date her mom?
Yeah, good question.
No, wait.
I'm asking the question.
No, because
that ain't the Donnell Rawlings show.
Love is love.
If you don't...
Love is love.
I agree with you. You like them young, though.
I say, Drake, I heard you. Nope. Don't do that. I don't like them young. I like what I love. I didn't groom nobody, son. It is what it is.
I don't usually do this, but I really wanted to address something that has really been bothering me for the past couple of months. My son's dad is a comedian and an actor, and he did an interview with a man by the name of Shannon Sharpe on his podcast. Now, on that podcast, Shannon Sharpe did a lot of digging. My son is almost 10 years old, and my son's dad and I broke up over 6 years ago. So for him to ever try to bring me up, or a family dynamic, or the age gap is very, very shocking to me. You went digging and you found the fact that we have a huge age gap, and you highlighted that and you tried to make fun of it, but you were actually really living that life, if not worse. I mean, this girl was a teenager, and, you know, with all the evidence that she put out there, I don't know if it's, you know, good evidence or not, or, you know, whatever. The stuff that I seen was pretty awful. I just feel like if you live in a glass house, please don't throw stones. You are very quick with the lip to ask.
That's one of the best phrases I ever heard. If you live in a glass house, please do not throw stones.
Him
You
details
don't even gotta over explain that shit. You just know what that shit means.
on and why didn't you date her mom? Why didn't you date her mom? Oh, did you guys meet at Forever 21? At least I was 21. You know what I'm saying? Like 19 is too young. You at your big age, you know that. You have kids that are probably older than that. Let's leave it alone. Let's leave families alone.
Shannon Sharpe's loose lips ultimately are sinking his ship faster than the lawsuit, in my personal opinion. Ultimately, allegations are very bad, and so are lawsuits. But they would have stayed fairly vanilla if Shannon Sharpe had not opened his mouth about a lot of these situations. This called in question a bunch of his character and a bunch of his past clips that made people ask a lot of questions about him, find hypocrisy, past situations in which he's done similar things, lawsuits, etc., you know, on camera behavior, all these things of the like. And now, no longer are we saying to ourselves, oh man, this is messed up that Shannon Sharpe is going through this. A lot of people are saying, yeah, this Uncle Freaky, race-playing, milk-loving, aggressive, grabby man who is a hypocrite about the whole age situation is in a bad situation, but he's still nasty. You try to save your public image, but you ultimately hurt it even more. Shannon Sharpe,
Man, it's like I said, it's damned if you do, damned if you don't. If these allegations came out and he said nothing, you would just have people constantly attacking his character, fabricating statements, adding on to claims, jumping into the lawsuit, throwing this, throwing that, throwing this, based off his past history, based off his past comments. I felt like he did the right thing and defended himself, but at the same time, you got to be smarter with how you do it. You don't want to just come out, and I feel like he jumped the gun with he's going to drop a 30-second, 15-second clip. Drop the whole tape. That was a little unnecessary, especially if it's two sides to it. But I feel like it's a little unnecessary. Like, a lot of stuff ain't really meant to be seen. Maybe in the court of law, but dropping it just free. I don't think they dropped it, and I hope they don't. But at the same time, you gotta pick your battles and choose to defend yourself smarter. You know what I'm saying? But it's your boy RushMoreRick. If you tapped into the Shannon Sharpe situation, drop a comment. Let me know what's going on. Let me know how you feel. Like, comment, sub, and we out. Deuces.